The Yankees will be just fine. It was ugly last night. I understand that, BT. Yankees will be just fine.
This Yankees team is trash. This Yankees team is absolutely broken. This Yankees team is absolutely busted. I got to tell you what, man. I'm selling everybody. I'm selling. If I'm the Yankees right now, I am taking the position that the Mets are currently in the middle of. If you want Stanton, I'll eat 65% of the contract. Get lost. Take Gleyber Torres. Take everybody but Aaron Judge, Garrett Cole, and probably Volpe. This team is a train wreck. This franchise stinks.
It's Severino, BT. It's one guy.
Sal, I can't watch this anymore. You know, I hate to hit you with stats. I know it's 4 minutes after 10. It's Monday morning. But I got to give you two stats. The Yankees have the second worst average in baseball. They're batting .231 on the year. The only team that's worse is the Oakland A's. Stat number one. Stat number two, they've got the 25th worst OPS in baseball. They don't hit with consistent power. They don't have dynamic athletes. Who is ascending? I'm going to honestly...
Judge is back. He was a beast Saturday. I mean, I don't know why he's had a sit last night, but it wouldn't have made a difference anyway because Severino stinks. How do you... See, I'm the opposite, BT. Well,
really?
I'm thinking, yeah, because... And look, it was a frustrating series loss. There's no way to sugarcoat that. And then Severino, you getting excited for Sunday Night Baseball before you could nestle in. The game is over. He's beat.
He's finished.
Yeah, he's washed up.
Forget
about Severino. So I'm looking at it just a bad Severino performance. I want the Yankees to upgrade and stop one. See, the Yankees prioritize right now resting their players and saving money. I want the opposite. Go invest in this team. Go take on some money and build this team to go out there and compete to win a World Series. They have the pitching lined up the way that you would want. Go add an outfielder, maybe add another arm in that rotation or bullpen, whatever they need to do. I want to invest in this team because they are going to be a playoff team, and I think they have as good a chance as anybody in the American League.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. You're still selling us this Yankee playoff stuff. I got news for you. Yankees aren't making the playoffs. Yankees, I mean, what are they, 3.5 out now, final wild card? Mm-hmm. Even if they were to get in, and at this point, and I going into last week, they'll find a way. No, they won't, because now you watch them against good teams. Everybody's got, first of all, the Orioles, they tried out like 7 lefties. The Yankees have like 1. Basically, and by the way, the one lefty that they tried out regularly, Anthony Rizzo. Take him, by the way. I think he's fried. Anthony Rizzo, Sal, since May 29th, is batting 168.
He's been terrible.
168.
So wait a second here, because you want to sell, right? And forget about the playoffs or not. You want to sell if you're the Yankees.
Sell.
But you don't like Brian Cashman.
I can't stand Brian Cashman.
So you're going to trust him and that organization to sell off everything right now instead of going for it again to get in the postseason and taking a run?
That's an interesting, I like the way you frame that, because it almost seems like a contradiction. Like, so if I don't, and when I say I don't like him, I don't trust him. I don't think he's good at his job.
It's not
Matter
a contradiction.
Matter of fact, he's awful.
Brian Cashman has not earned the right.
He hasn't. He's earned the right to park cars at Yankee Stadium at this point. Earned the right. Listen, I hear you. When you don't believe in somebody, why would I want to give that person the latitude to make trades?
Well,
I got you on that.
As opposed to going for it. I get it. We talked about the same thing with Billy Appler. We'll get into that later on, whatever. But we look at this Yankees team right here. I would rather them go for it, get in, and anything could happen in the weak American League. Even with Brian Cashman, whatever. I don't care. I want to see them make moves to upgrade this ball club.
Well, my concern, Sal, is that, and, I don't say this to sound like a wise guy, but I'm not even convinced that Brian Cashman knows when the trade deadline is. Because a lot of the targets that the Yankees were reportedly, kicked, they've already been dealt. The flamethrower from the Cardinals, Gritchick, not the Gritchicks who were, how do you say the guy's name from Colorado?
Randall Gritchick.
Gritchick.
Right.
I mean, he's already been traded. Who are you getting? So the Juan Soto's been pulled back. Otani's been pulled back. There's no difference.
Did they pull back Soto? I didn't see that.
Well, there was some strong intimations that they're not going. I guess you could always entice if you throw Volpe, whatever. But Yankee fans need, and by the way, I think Yankee fans really have come to this realization. Like, this team is just miles from shore. If shore represents safety, the Yankees are in a life preserver. The Yankees are in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean during a storm, wearing a little blow-up ducky around their waist. The Yankees are done, dude.
Rubber ducky.
Yankees are shot. Yankees stink.
I don't see it that
they
way
stink.
yet. I will admit, I'm getting closer to having to wave the white flag and say, you know what, I was wrong about this Yankee team. I'm not there yet.
Oh, man,
because,
I am.
Look, Saturday they were on top of the world. Judge is back. Yankees beat the Orioles and then set up a rubber game, which their starting pitcher took them out of completely. So even the depleted, bad average Anthony Rizzo stinks, judgeless Yankees still had a chance on Sunday if Severino didn't throw batting practice right out of the gate.
Yeah, he's killing them. He's done that a few times
they can't
this year.
So, to me, trim the fat here, clean up the mess, get rid of Severino. He cannot take another turn on the rotation. I don't want him coming out of the bullpen. Figure out what you want to do with him. Add a bullpen arm, add a starter, and add an outfield bat with Judge back. The Yankees are, look, I don't like anybody else in the American League, BT. I'm sorry. I still think the Yankees have. Now, we talked about this last week, too, with the schedule. Off to a bad start here, losing 2 out of 3. If they lose the series to the Rays, if they lose the series to the Astros, different story. They could be buried over this 10-game stretch. Obviously, the deadline's tomorrow, so they're going to have to make some moves here. I'm not done yet with the Yankees.
I'm done.
You selling everything?
I'm done. I hope that I'm wrong. I guarantee that I won't be. Sell. There's nothing of value on this team. They are absolutely broken. They're not. We can sit here and pray to the baseball gods for the rest of eternity. The way they're set up, they are done. Sell.
877-337-6666. Tom is in Metuchen, New Jersey. Tom?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
How are you, Tom?
Hey, Tommy. How are you?
BT, man, I'm so with you on this. I'm so done with this team. After last night, how can you take this team seriously when they don't play Judge in a must-win game? I know Judge, we don't want to re-injure the guy, but ask the guy, are you good to go? He knows he's good to go. Let him play.
You didn't have to play. You could just DH.
That's true. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Let him DH like he did the first game. It's an embarrassment. If Judge hits a 3-run home run, the Yankees have a chance. I mean, think about the way, honestly, all kidding aside, think about what this franchise is built on right now. Garrett Cole's got to throw a gem, okay? And Aaron Judge needs to go, 2, 3, 4 RBIs, couple of hits, and go yard for the Yankees to have a chance to beat a good team. If one of those two things don't happen, the Yankees are lifeless. It's sad.
They're still over 5. Look, it's getting late, obviously, and last night was ugly. No way to sugarcoat that. And I will say this. I'll concede the division. Remember I was saying even last week, I think they had a... That's over to me now. Baltimore's playing on a different level. And it was over to most before that. I understand that. I was holding out hope and thinking anything could happen. They could go on a run, get Judge back, make some trades. Well, the division is gone. Now it's got to be the focus, at least from my perspective. Now I admit I was wrong on that, holding out hope for the division. Now the focus has got to be on that wild card. I'm still buying. I am still buying if I'm getting the opportunity to get in the postseason and do damage is too great as opposed to giving up on the season.
You know what's so sad about this? And I hear you. We have different thoughts on this. I got it. But what's really sad, if you subscribe to what I'm saying, if you happen to do that, think about how the Yanks are wasting Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole's prime. As much as we revere Guidry, if you were, and I only saw Guidry in the 80s, not in the 70s, but Guidry was a beast, and Andy Pettit and all those, rocks at the top of the Yankee rotation. El Duque with his moments, obviously, during the dynasty. You can make the very easy case that Garrett Cole's been the best Yankee pitcher in the last 35, 40 years. And this guy's just not given a chance to win a championship.
And he shuts down the Orioles Friday night. They still can't get the
win.
Not a
run.
Yeah.
Not a run.
It reminds me a little bit of the Mets with DeGrom. I always say the biggest waste in sports is if you have an ace on your team and he's not pitching in game 1 of the postseason, whatever series that is criminal.
Yeah, you mean if you have to scrap to get there and he's got to pitch before that, meaning he's not available to pitch in game 1?
I'm just saying I don't mean literally game 1, but as far as if it's not set up there. I'm talking about if you have that guy on your team, whatever. It could even be R.A. Dickey who won a Cy Young. But more in particular with DeGrom, right? You have, and to your point this year with Cole, you have that guy on your team. He better be pitching in the postseason.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, listen, it's among the most elusive things to really get in sports. So I would agree with that. If you have that horse and you can't find a way to get a third wild card, it's despicable.
But that's why I would go for it because of Garrett Cole and that pitching. Jeff is in Hamilton, New Jersey. Jeff?
How are you?
How are you, Jeff?
What's happening, Jeff?
I'm good. I talked to you guys about a week ago, and I told you guys this Yankee team's going nowhere. Sal, you argued with me. To your point, this team has 2 players you can rely on. You mentioned them. It is Cole and it is Judge. If you look down this lineup, the batting averages are 260 or lower. The arms outside of Cole are garbage. I mean, this team, even if they get to the wild card, we'll just say if, which I don't think they are. I think the next 2 series they're done. They're going to get buried. But even if they do, they're not going anywhere. So why would you possibly trade any minor leaguers you have, anybody that's good, any prospects to take on a bat, to take on another pitcher? They're going nowhere.
Because you don't know that. You don't know they're not going anywhere. No, you don't. You don't know that. What do you predict the future? Or what's in your crystal ball?
It was just Alstradamus that was able to do that.
Good point.
It can't be Jeff Stradamus. What are we doing here? He trademarked that.
Yes. Listen. The smell test, what I have seen has shown me they are not going on a run. This team.
So you give up this year and then what, Jeff? You give up this year, you sell, and then what? What about next year?
Well, here's the problem that you run into, and you guys just brought this up. You got Derek Cole, you got Judge, both in their prime.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, and again, I don't usually kill Cashman like some other people do. But the problem is you have a bunch of contracts in this team. I'll start with Stan. You have a lot of guys in this team that they're hurt. They just don't perform. I mean, Rizzo is not performing right now. Look at him the last.
I understand. You're not answering the question. I'll ask you, BT, and thanks for the call, Jeff. What do you do next year then? You decide to sell this year. And by the way, you mentioned the pieces. Like, what exactly do the Yankees have?
Nothing.
That everybody wants.
They have nothing. I'm not convinced that Peraza's a player. I'm not Oswaldo Cabrera, whatever. He's a fourth outfielder.
You're not giving up Volpe or Peraza at this point.
I give up Peraza. I don't know the Peraza's going to hit, and I want to hold on to Volpe, and I'm certainly not looking to give him away, but I don't know for sure that he's going to be the player that we all want him to be. I'm going to ride that out, and so I'm not looking to trade him. Let me be clear. I'm not trading Volpe, but to be honest, I don't know if he's going to be what we need him to be.
Well, so hold on a sec. Are you selling or are you looking to trade to reshape the look of this team? Because if you're trading Peraza, for example, that's not a seller's move, obviously. A team that's selling, there's no way they would give up obviously Volpe goes without saying, but Peraza, for example, a young player, you want to trade Glaber, different story. Which again, I'm sure there'd be some value there. I don't know what the
Marlins.
Worth is.
They came back. Remember last year the Marlins with Pablo Lopez. The Yankees and the Marlins talked about Gleyber Torres, and apparently he's pretty close. Looks like the Yankees and the Marlins are talking about to take him.
Well,
take Gleyber Torres.
Fine.
Take him.
That's a seller's move. You're not going to get. What are you getting for Rizzo right now?
Nothing. But you know what I get? I get him. I'm not getting anything. I get him off the books for next year.
All right, Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh, I mean, God.
Because there's only a few sellers' moves if you want to be a seller, right? And then the question that I asked Jeff that he didn't answer, you can answer here. What exactly are you doing next year if you're the Yankees?
Well, the easy answer is I'll kind of worry about next year. I know that that's not a sexy answer, but and I'm not trying to be evasive. I'm not trying not to answer the question. But I think the other thing that people need to realize, so the major league product for the Yankees is incredibly lackluster, incredibly overhyped. It's absolutely broken. It's going nowhere, in my opinion. And then you're like, well, at least the Yankees have to be fortified in the minors. No. Now, I know that this is subjective, but I looked at two databases. One is Fangraphs this morning. The Yankees minor league system is 19th in baseball right now. I mean, I don't know where's the cavalry? Nobody's charging up the hill with weapons getting ready to save the Yankees. The Yankees really Sal, I mean this. The Yankees are in as bad a position, slightly better, but the last time it was this dire was right before the Stump Merrill run. Like this Yankees team is cooked.
See, that's exactly why, BT.
Unwatchable.
That's exactly why I think that they need to be buyers here at the deadline. Because you at least have a chance to get into the dance.
Yeah.
And then with that, you have Cole and Rodon. Like, these guys aren't going anywhere. Unfortunately, good or bad, this is the Yankee team. The pieces that they can quote-unquote sell aren't going to bring back much. And is it worth even giving up on this season when you're only a few games out of the postseason with the hope that if you do get there, you have Cole, Rodon, game 1 and game 2?
The answer for me is it's yes, it is still worth it to give up on the season because unless it's a move like Soto, which obviously fortifies the next 8, 9, 10 years, you would think theoretically in the 3 spot in the outfield. Oh, I don't know. What a concept. The lefty bat at Yankee Stadium. Whoa, Brian Cashman. Do you realize that it's 314 feet down the right field line, or did you forget? Because it seems like you kind of forgot. But listen, even if they get some reinforcements outside of a Soto type, Sal, what it does to me is it just kicks it down the road. All right, so maybe it scrounds out the third spot. They're not winning anything. And then next year it's like, all right, let's go through the same stupid charade and try to fool everybody and get 40,000 there every night and have zero chance to win anything of significance.
Dan and Carteret. Dan?
Hey, how you doing, guys? I love the new program you got.
Thank you, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, I hate to be so angry
Good.
on a Monday morning here, Sal.
That's all right.
But I
understand
got to
it.
tell you, I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for the show because what we watched this weekend. I mean, there's
Last
not.
night was-
I mean, the weekend, really, 2 out of 3. Like, there's not a Yankee fan. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how you disagree with what I just said. They stink.
Dan?
Hey, BT.
Yes.
Let's try and fix delusion here. Sal, you got to sit down and take a deep breath and just, it's over, man. It's over.
What's over exactly?
The Yankees winning pretty much anything.
Well,
this
they're
point.
they're 3.5 games out of a wild card spot. It's not even August yet. So how's that over exactly?
When's the last time?
How's it over exactly? It's not even August. They're 3.5 games back.
It's over. When's the last time a team won the last wild card and then took it to the World Series?
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about getting in the postseason right now.
Listen, it's World Series or nothing. That's for every team. The Yankees are done, man. What they need to do is start trading and start gearing up for next year.
But how are you
got a
going
better
to do
chance
that,
of me
Dan?
winning.
How are you going to do that? Who are you trading and how are you gearing up for next year? I'd love to hear this.
I mean, there's nobody there to really trade for, but we got to get rid of some garbage.
Well, okay, so get rid of some garbage. That doesn't sound like he's going to promise a good return there.
No, but, I mean, we got to do something to start, whether it's bringing up people from,
They got no. Dan,
The
here's
other-
the problem. Thanks for the call. They've got nobody to bring up.
Dan doesn't have a plan.
Well,
either.
yeah, he seems a little planless there. So let me try to. Although I get the frustration,
Right.
I know what he's saying, but let me at least streamline his plan. I think what he's saying, certainly what I'm saying is, a tweak will solve nothing. The Yankees need a fundamental. I don't know why I said it like that. Fundamental,
Right.
maybe for emphasis, fundamental overhaul. They just need a complete. Throw it in the blender, hit, what is it, frappe, F-R-A-P-P-E, mix it up and just pour it out and start over. These kids that come up for a little, and the players so far that we've seen this year, they're not it, man. You know a stud when you see it.
Like who are you talking about? It's not it. Jake
Oswaldo
Bauers?
Cabrera. I don't think Peraza is. These guys aren't going to hit. Cabrera's the fourth outfielder. Peraza is the kid who could catch who probably can't hit. Honestly,
the only option they have is to play this out here, to hopefully get in the postseason and go on a run, which I understand logically does not seem realistic, but it is still possible. And then if they don't, then make a change and restructure the front office. Like, that's it. And then you're now in rebuild with a new leadership, right? With a new voice atop the organization, which I don't think is going to happen. Do you?
No. Brian
So-
Cashman's got a contract for life, apparently.
Okay, so as a fan,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you then want to see them get in the postseason and hope against hope, hope against logic
Yeah.
that something could happen in the American League postseason?
Because, listen, of course I'd love to win and I'd love to have a chance. To me, it's because I've seen this script for a couple. It's the same freaking movie. You conjure up this belief. You don't really feel it, but because you don't want to be overly negative and you want to skew optimistically, at least I do, I try to accent the positives. There's that. What positives? I mean, it's almost August 1st. Positives. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton has destroyed the franchise. The money, the inability to play the outfield. He's just an albatross. DJ LeMahieu's shot. Rizzo's cooked. Donaldson's a bum. They stink. That's honestly, they
Is that all?
they stink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a short list.
I
Sal.
understand your
They
frustration.
Stink.
As
I'm done with them.
As
Start
somebody
over.
who rarely sees his team in the postseason ever, I understand what you're saying. However, 3.5 games back, wild card playoffs, wild card position still there for the Yankees if they buy here ahead of the deadline tomorrow. Obviously, they need to upgrade this team. That's what I would do if I were Brian Cashman and the Yankees.